Government statistics. The most interesting subject that I know you're all thrilled to be hearing about, but they are very important because they do play a lot into what government policies get put through and what policies get recommended in the first place. Because ever since governments started to really collect statistics for lots of, some would say inconsequential things, some would say very important things, especially when it all started to ramp up in the mid-20th century, it's been used to push all sorts of nonsense, and now it's used to push immigration. Almost every statistic you can imagine will eventually somehow lead back to needs more foreigners. That's the answer to everything. Sawtooth, need more foreigners. NHS wait time, well, you need more foreigners clogging up those emergency rooms.
Unemployment among the foreign population, more foreigners.
More foreigners. Too many sleepy foreigners? Well, perhaps more sleepy foreigners will solve the sleepy foreigner problem. Because they can all get in the big bed together, and they can all, the little ones said roll over, etc., etc. Yes, because unemployment statistics are very important. One of the main arguments that we constantly hear for why we need more immigration is there's so many job vacancies. Job vacancies everywhere, left, right, and centre. Wherever you look, there's somebody struggling to get a job, despite the fact that there's all these job vacancies. Okay? And I'll examine why that is a load of nonsense in just a moment. First, we do have a new premium podcast that Connor put out on the website where he's talking to Carl about whether Jesus is a socialist. As you can see, this went on for 1.5 hours. Short answer is no. But if you'd like the longer and more comprehensive answer, you can go on the website, sign up for £5 a month, and get access to all the juicy goodness therein and watch this one in particular. So, some of the more recent statistics we've got regarding the channel crossings, the illegal immigration that I've been harping on about recently, was the fact that only 250 migrants who arrived last year were deported. And that's of the about 40,000 who showed up. So,
couldn't find a job.
Obviously not. Just 39,785 to go.
Oh, no, that means we've got 37 billion more. How many you said?
39,000.
39,000 more workers. Economy go up.
Line go up. Yeah. Only good thing. Make very good thing.
I'm amazed that we are still not the world's biggest economy with that many entrepreneurs and doctors.
We're packing them in like sardines. Like every single one of these. Doctors and nurses.
100 grand each. That's what they're bringing to our shores.
Oh, yeah. Well, supposedly, and we'll get into this in a moment, supposedly each migrant brings in about an extra £2,000 to the economy per head when compared with your average native British worker. I believe that statistic, yes. But, as I've been pointing out, the problem is not just illegal immigration. The main problem that we have, let's be honest, is legal immigration. Last year we had not net, but we had about incoming over 1 million immigrants come into the country. That was about, I think, 1.16 million immigrants. Net, that led to about 500,000 immigrants came into the country last year. So presumably the economy should be booming. I should be living in a house right now next to Rashid, my new neighbour, who's also built and bought a house in the same day.
The retirement age for natives has been dropped to 32.
I know, I can't wait just another few years for me. You've got a little bit longer to wait, but, we'll be able to live it up as soon as possible, really.
No, it's been increased, actually.
Oh, yeah.
69 now.
That's the case.
Just keep on waiting.
France gets a lot of immigration as well, and they had some protests. What was it? Was it the immigration being too low? Retirement age?
They started burning down Paris. There's not enough migration.
No, not enough foreigners. I know, those bloody French, they'll protest over anything,
God, could you
won't they?
imagine that ever happening anywhere on Earth?
No. No, I couldn't. Shockingly enough.
You go to the Sentinelese Islands.
We need more immigrants.
Sorry.
Miles will be there to show them the way.
Yeah.
And I saw this amazing clip on GB News the other day from a man called Benjamin Butterworth, who is part of a new show, what is it, The Five or something, where it's 4 regulars and they get a guest on and they debate certain subjects. And this was the final straw for me. I just needed to vent about this because this is absolute rubbish that he's about to spout here. And obviously they need to get a subject, they each say their own perspective on it, and then they debate it between themselves. And this is the argument that I always hear whenever anybody goes, we need more foreigners, we need more migrants. So let's just hear this one then.
Start the clock. Buckle up, Britain. This is why we need more migrants in the country. Britain has an ageing population, a declining fertility rate, and we have the highest taxes that anyone of working age has ever known. The truth is that we don't have enough workers in this country. There aren't even enough people to look after the health and social care of our elderly. But not one politician in this country will say the bleeding obvious. We need more workers, and that means more immigrants. The birth rate in this country is expected to fall to just 1.45. It would have to be over 2 to maintain the current amount of population. And a third of people born today will see their 100th birthday. The truth is, immigrants contribute more than the average British-born person by £2,300 a year. If we're going to pay for pensions, if we're going to pay for public services, we need more workers to fill the 2.6 million vacancies that we're going to have in this economy by 2030. And that is why Britain should open the borders. But what do you think? I'm sure you all agree.
So not just more immigration, open the borders.
I love how it's actually the retard meme, though.
Let them in.
It's like, highest immigration on record, and the economy's a mess. Solution, more immigrants.
Yes, it actually is.
Clearly not enough, idiot.
Yeah, so, yeah, even before going into any statistics, I'm not going to even try to contend with that statistic that you threw out that apparently each immigrant brings in about 2,000 extra pounds.
Well, we had a, what was it,
than a
1.7 million, so the economy should be up.
What would be 1.1 million times about 2,000? What would that be? That'd
A
be,
lot.
That would be a lot of money. That would be a lot. That would be probably, what, like a billion? An extra billion in the
50,
economy,
50
right there.
quid at least.
Yeah.
And yet we're actually down 2.5 billion.
I think that would be a bagillion. A bagillion pounds in the economy. 1 billion, trillion, million, billion pounds in the economy.
But as I say, we're actually down 2.5 billion just on asylum applications.
Yes. So obviously we've just not had enough.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Immigration. Yeah, the obvious problem with all of that, as Callum pointed out, is you don't even really need to go into the statistics or anything, is that we have had about 13 years of uninterrupted mass migration into the country, which has only got more...
13?
Yeah, well...
1997,
Well, 1997, that's true, but...
Quarter century of it. And yet the economy's worse than ever.
Yes. So we've had about a quarter century of it, but I meant the 13 years under the Tories, where it's actually gone up from what it was under Labour. And if the economy was going to correct itself, it would have at some point, because we've got more immigrants than in the history, I believe, since...
I think the immigrant financial boom takes about 100 years until you start feeling it. So by...
It's just small rumbles right now.
So by 2097...
Ooh, when I'll be 101 years old,
it'll start
that'll be
off.
a good year.
And then by 21, 23, we'll all be living in gold coffins.
I forget what it is, but I believe between the periods of 1066, the Norman invasion, and 1997, we had less overall immigration than we do now in a single year.
And the best economic growth of anywhere on Earth.
Wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, so it's not looking good. Benjamin Butterworth, I never knew who this person was. He's got a Guardian page because, of course, he's not written for them since October 2016, but it says that he was chair of Young Labour across London.
Oh, leftist on GB News.
Yes, I know. What a big surprise there. But let's address the actual argument that's being made about job openings and immigration. So let's look at some of the figures that the government collected through the 2021 census. So professional occupations such as doctors, nurses and teachers were the most common broad occupational group for most migrant groups, with around a third, 35.7 of those born in Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea and other Pacific Island nations employed in this occupational group. Nearly half of specialist medical practitioners such as oncologists and cardiologists were born outside of the UK. So those are jobs that could be being worked by native workers.
Yep. We could, we could invest in educating them, and then they could do the job, and then it would be profitable.
You're right, we could.
They'd make more money than we invested, and therefore you'd grow the economy without the import of a foreigner. But
where will I get my jerk chicken? Who will serve me my pret?
There's the internet with all the recipes on, but...
And unsurprisingly, this is an interesting little figure nestled in here. The occupation with the highest UK-born workforce was farmers at 97.5%. And it makes you really wonder for a moment there, reading that, why it is that they seem to want to flood the countryside with immigrants as well.
Or destroy the farming industry in the UK.
And that as well.
Just import food, trust me, there's no wars in the world, ever.
Yes, and I like this one as well. Nearly 3 in 4 EU-born migrants were in employment. On Census Day, 21st March 2021, there were 48.6 million usual residents aged 16 years and over in England and Wales, of whom 39.3 million were UK-born and 9.3 million were born outside of the UK. That's about 19.1%. EU-born adults have the highest percentage of people in employment, according to this next graph that we've got here. And as you can see, obviously, EU... we do have some characteristics, some cultural characteristics shared with the European people, given that we are technically European, Northern European ourselves. Big surprise there.
People from Normandy, kind of easier to integrate than...
Yes, but as you go down, you start to see, Africa, only 61.9% in employment. The Americas and the Caribbean, 60.1%. You suddenly start to see a big drop-off as soon as you go outside of anywhere from the EU.
The EU 8 as well.
The
Because
EU 8.
let's not be the EU's not all the same.
This is true. This is very true. But generally, as soon as you get outside of the EU, you start to see a massive drop off in the amount of people employed, and then
14 over there.
Yeah, if we go to the next one as well. So unemployment. So British overseas territories have 12.9% unemployment rate.
To be fair, that's because they're all old or tax haven.
No, this is fair. But Africa and such have 8.7. But so if I look at the graph above, the one we were just looking at, so we've got 61.9% Africans are employed, 8.7% Africans are unemployed, which means there's about 30% Africans, just taking up place in the system, presumably, just claiming benefits or
I don't know. I mean, you could be retired or something.
Yeah,
I guess.
still-
Not in participation workforce. I can't remember what the term is.
if you're retired, then you're probably still, taking something from the system that you may or may not have put in there in the first place.
I mean, either way, that unemployment rate is kind of big.
Kind of big. Yeah, kind of big. And if we go to the next link as well, when I mentioned the brain drain, when we talk about...
Can we spend a
Oh, yeah, if you
sorry
want
to be rude.
if you want to keep looking at that graph for a moment.
Because I don't want to just say Africa, non-EU countries, double the British one.
Yep.
Other Europe non-EU countries, double. The Americas and Caribbean's almost double. Middle East, almost double than the British unemployment. I mean, then all the EU ones. And then right at the bottom, the only people who are more employed than the British are those from Antarctica and Oceania over there.
The most important immigrants, and that's presumably...
So if you actually wanted to make the argument of like, we're going to import the world and then they'll do the jobs, if you want to make sure it's the highest employment rate, Arctic people...
If we get the Inuits...
it's not even the Inuits, the other side, isn't it? So it's literally the penguins.
If we get the penguins, and they're all employed at freak shows and zoos,
But
presumably.
How many times have you been told, the British are lazy, they don't do any work, they're all unemployed? And it's like, well...
Well, it's obvious gaslighting.
I mean, literally bottom of the list, except from the penguins, lads. So...
And the penguins are hard workers.
Yeah, I mean, you can't mock the penguins and the poles.
No,
Brothers of another kind.
Yeah, but, they say, we've got all of these people who are filling up places in the NHS. The NHS wouldn't function if we didn't have all of these immigrants filling up the emergency rooms and also the jobs, presumably.
The chat is like, bless our penguins.
Good. And if we go
Sorry,
to
New Zealand, but nobody knows who you are anymore.
If we go to the next one, when I talk about how, we've got all of these people filling positions in the NHS that could be filled by British people, the UK even acknowledges that, yes, if we keep taking all of these foreign workers, then there will be no foreign workers to staff the health systems that they have over there.
Yeah.
So we have banned them from coming over and taking those jobs.
Whoopsie.
Sorry about that, guys.
I mean, this is the thing, like, if you invest in someone to, I don't know, be a doctor, and then you give them some money so they can go and train, and then they pay it off by being the doctor and giving you a portion of the salary, it's financially viable, advances their life, creates money in the system. But if I just turn up and steal him, and then you don't get any payback on your investment, yeah, I mean, you're kind of screwed over the world that you're stealing those people from.
But somewhere in the world, we can be content that a line has gone up.
Great.
So it all works out in the end.
God bless the line.
And if we go to the ONS job vacancies and such, and once again, these are a lot of the statistics that are used to consistently justify bringing in immigration so that we can plug up these gaps in employment, all of these vacancies. So we've got 1,124,000 job vacancies in the most recent statistics. So that's December 2022 to February 2023, which was a decrease from the previous months before then. So that's a lot of job vacancies. You know, that 1.16 million that we took in last year should have plugged these up by now.
Some pingus turned up and took some of them. So.
Yeah. I mean, they took some. But then I discovered this, which is something that I had never considered before. So Scrumps shared this on Twitter saying, you know, modern companies act like compulsively lying psychopaths, and pointed out that in surveys, and I found the article for this. So let's go over to the article. Where we can talk about this. So, ghost jobs. Now, this article is based in America, but it's not going to be saying anything that won't be happening in England at the same time. Have you ever encountered a ghost job?
I don't know what you mean by ghost job.
A ghost job is when you go online and you apply for a job that has been up for months and you never hear back from it, despite the fact that it's been up for months, and you assume, well, surely they want to fill that job position, right? You've experienced this, surely.
Yeah.
I've met many people who've experienced this, because you end up, when you're unemployed, you have to go on Indeed or whatever website it is you're using, and you apply for every single job that is available. And there have been some that have been up for up to half a year. And you go, surely they want to fill that job, right? But nobody ever hears back from it, you never hear back from it, and the job stays up for even longer. Well, that's because it's a ghost job, because it's a job that's there purely for show, that isn't meant to be filled. And let's give you the information here. So this is America, but it absolutely will apply to the UK as well. So the job you applied to in this circumstance is a ghost job. The term has recently been coined to describe job openings left active online for months and seemingly never filled. In some cases, a job opening that might not even exist. A survey from an online company, loan company, Clarify Capital, asked over 1,000 managers involved in the hiring process questions regarding job openings at their companies. The survey found that 60% of job postings online are kept active for more than 1 month. The bulk of those openings were left online for 2 to 3 months. 1 in 10 had the online job posting active for more than 6 months. Why are some of these job openings left online for so long? Interesting question. The most common explanation is that some of these companies do truly have standing openings, and that they are always open to hiring the right applicant when they come along. However, a significant number of managers also shared that the openings are kept active because the jobs simply don't exist. Of those surveyed, 43% of managers said that they post job openings online in order to give the impression that the company is growing. Another 43%, yes, this is true.
I believe it so much.
Yep.
Because it's unbelievably what you would expect.
It is so stupid that only a middle manager would think that this is a good idea.
God.
Another 43% said that they posted job openings to keep current employees motivated. That's right, your job could be going at any time, so you best work hard, bucko. And 34% took that one step further and said they kept online job posts active in order to placate overworked employees.
What?
To placate overworked employees. So
they're giving too much work to this guy, and they're like, oh, hiring someone soon, I swear.
Yep. My missus went through this recently, actually. She was working at a place where they were constantly overworked. There was like 3 members of staff at a very busy corner shop. And they were constantly like, well, as soon as the new year hits, we're going to have lots of changes. We've got job openings. I'll start the job interviews very soon. Don't you worry. New Year's comes along. Where are the new guys starting? Well, at the end of January.
I need you to come in Saturday. I forgot Sunday as well, if you could.
Yeah, and if you could work a 12-hour shift as well, that'd be a big... But at the end of January...
God, I love Office Space so much.
I know. It is psychopathic. It is gaslighting your own employees. And they just conclude, so basically nearly half of the hiring managers surveyed said that their company posted jobs with the intent to bolster the company's images or provide false hope to their understaffed workforce that help was on the way. Which is just beautiful to know, because once again, when you have people posting jobs like this, these vacancies will be noted online by the government, and the government will go, guess we need more foreigners then.
Look at all these jobs.
Look at all these jobs. Someone's got to fill them.
God, I hate middle management so much.
Yep, so this is all fantastic, and just a nice way to end your day knowing that if you're working a minimum wage job and there are job openings for people who are going to help take some of the load off your back, it's probably not going to get any better, sorry.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Symposium series, this episode on Nietzsche's Birth of Tragedy. If you'd like to find out what else has been put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.